Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. Black business ownership is key. Black business ownership is key. This is very important. Just the idea. Now, in the last episode, of course, I talked about grocery stores and restaurants. And just on this channel, period, I've constantly talked about business ownership. Now, of course, everything I'm saying is open to anyone who wants to listen, regardless of their background. But considering the times that we're in now, Black Americans, African Americans, foundational Black Americans, whatever term you want to use, need to really think about business ownership. Because with the political climate especially, and you have in the Supreme Court, in a case that will affect affirmative action in college admissions. And let's just be real, this is mainly pointed at the admissions of Black and brown students. And at some point, somebody might go for diversity. There's a lot of attacks. A lot of people are like, nah, we don't want that. We don't want that. You know what? We can argue, we can sing, we can do all of that. But at the meantime, we still need to feed ourselves. See, one of the things with that is, okay, if they say, well, we want to go against diversity, or, they find some reason not to hire you or even advertise for you, be like, okay, all right, we'll just start our own business. We'll set up right next to you. In fact, we'll start the same business, set up near you and put you out of business. Seriously. Because one of the things when you have ownership of a business, and that takes a lot of stuff out of it. You don't have to go where you're not wanted. In fact, I was talking with a young man the other day, and he was actually catching some trouble, some grief, and it was a racial thing. And you have a lot of Blacks on these jobs where, they catching some trouble here, there, scrutinized a different way. Oh, let's solve that. Unless it's something specific, like highly whatever, there's Blacks who are starting businesses in every area. And let's just be real, the vast majority of people are working in a business that could easily be duplicated or owned by someone Black, or even making just as much money, maybe even more, depending on the skill level and everything. And let's just be real, most businesses anyway are small business. The majority of businesses out here are actually small businesses. Anybody can form that. What the thing is, it needs to be a mindset about it. Now, in the last episode, I spoke about immigrant groups and just their mentality and everything. And I remember years ago, a couple decades ago now, I had a young Korean girlfriend. And even though she was at 20 years old at the time, she was already thinking about business. This young girl just thinking about business. And it was like, learned a lot about that mentality. See, when you have people, any groups, when they own their own businesses, you notice they don't have the same complaints. They do their businesses and do it well. That's the key. Own a business, do it well. Very simple. And that's a key, because you still have people saying, well, getting up in this corporation and everything. People being laid off, regardless of race. Let's be real about something. Regardless of race. People being laid off for some jobs. People being laid off from these tech jobs, or, even some of the big jobs. Even online. A lot of people, regardless of their race. And shoot, I would tell them the same thing, business ownership. But in this episode, I'll focus on Black business ownership. Like the key, like whatever it is. That's why I've talked about a lot of different businesses. And I'm gonna tell you what, you could still set up stuff someplace, because I know like at different malls, they've had vendors, Black-owned vendors set up. And as long as they have a good product, and they're actually doing very well. And in fact, like I said, the small business thing, see, you don't have to be a major corporation that you work for. You don't have to be. Set up a small business. A small business can still make a lot of money. And then you don't have to go through the same mess. And I know a lot of successful black business owners, and they might be just a kiosk, maybe a storefront somewhere, but they are making money. They're doing their thing. And see, that's a different mindset too. I'm gonna tell you what, psychologically, that's a different mindset. And I know this from being in business myself. I know this. It's a different mindset when you own a business. You don't have to like ignore little microaggressions on a job or something like that. You can deal with people. You can be yourself in dealing with people. That's an important thing. You don't have to kowtow to anybody. It was like you own the business, you do it well. All you have to do is provide good customer service. And when people want something from you, they're gonna behave a certain way toward you. But you get on jobs, you get jealousy, all of that. Like I said, I know a young man right now, he's catching some trouble. It ain't even about what he's doing for a job. It's like some little stuff, but you're gonna get that. But when you own your own business or product service, then when you're dealing with people business-wise, it's totally different. See, and that's something else too. When you're dealing with people for business, they gonna treat you differently because it's business. Y'all don't have to hang out. All you have to do is like transactions. A lot of different groups, when they deal with each other, you think they like everybody they doing business with? No, it's business. Business is about, hey, let's get this money flowing and everything. And that's one of the things that needs to happen within the black community. We can't, the reality is we can't say, well, we're going to ask them for jobs when we're going to do this diversity. The job might not be there for you to ask. That's something else to think about. Even if they're inclined to hire you, they might not be able to. Like I said, just pay attention to the news. A lot of people being laid off, a lot of people. And then you got that recession word. Now I know some people say, well, what about the recession and owning a business? Depending on what you had, the money's still flowing. The only people can, if you got a good small business or even a mid-sized business and you have a good product and you've seen some of my videos and you've tapped into a good demographic, they can keep you afloat. It don't take much. Because I look at what I do, and honestly, even though I got thousands of subs and everything on different channels, different platforms, this may be a few hundred people that put me at 6 figures. Like steady money, a few hundred a month. Seriously, seriously. Because one of the things, and I'll just share this about my business, when a person buys one product, they tend to buy more. So it depends on what you're doing, what you're selling and everything. But before you even get to that point, you have to actually own something. And that's need to be the focus. Like with my sons, I'm constantly saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to own a business? You want to go work for somebody? Now the oldest one, he's like, youngest one, well, he already got some stuff going as it is, but we won't get into that. So anyway, though, I want y'all to really think about that. It's important. It's important because you have to be able to feed yourself. You can't depend on other people. You really can't. So, and that's all it's about. Own your own business and do it well. All right? So, y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.